We're back with John Davidson, advisor for various venture capital firms, both in the United States and overseas. So, John, you were telling us about thinking as an inventor and where you first got your start as an entrepreneur, starting your first business.
Mm-hmm.
What pushed you?
Well, I actually thought when we, in the months before starting Ungerman Bass, I thought I had a really good idea. And so then I wanted to realize this idea. Now, at the time, I was working for a firm in Massachusetts, where it was getting cold, by the way, and the idea was for a communications capability that firm had realized in the wide area networking sense. And my thought was, how about the local area network? It's really kind of a strange story because I could sit in my office in a company called Bolt Beranek and Newman, BBN, that was the creator of the ARPA network, which was the forerunner of the Internet. And from that room, I could connect to any computer that was on the network, including computers in Hawaii and in California, etc., and in Europe. The computers I couldn't connect to were in our own basement. I would have to call down to the people there and have them change my terminal at the time, just a dumb terminal, plug it into a different place in the patch panel so I'd be connected to a different computer. And I thought, my gosh, why don't we replicate within this building the capabilities that we created for networks across the world? And that idea blossomed very quickly and under my own thinking to the point where I actually took it to the company and said, how about if we build this as a product? Well, they were not a product company. So they dealt with product companies, one of them which was called Prime Computer in those days, and I took the story to Prime and I said, you guys are building networks for connection of computers in a local environment. Why don't you use the communications technology to do what we did with the ARPA network? And they said, no, we don't do that. So I got a couple of those kinds of dead ends, and pretty soon proposed to a friend of mine who had been a student here at the university with me, the notion that we would have a great product idea if we would just make a communications network for the local environment and have it do what the ARPANET did. And he and I and another guy founded that first company to do that. It was about a 3-month process to move from the East Coast to the West Coast, where Ungerman Bass was founded, and then about a 4 or 5 month process to actually disengage from all the work we were doing with other people and re-engage in the context of a new company, and then go seek venture capital for the idea.
So you had this idea, you took it to several different people, and finally you found somebody that would say, oh, actually you didn't find somebody that said they would do it, right? So now that you're an advisor for, the UH Business PACE competition, as well as some of these other companies that you help in Silicon Valley, what kind of advice do you give people who have this idea, want to invent, and then want to take it to the next level? So tips of starting a business.
Wow. Okay, there are all sorts of things involved in starting a business, and they would tell you, generally speaking, you need at least the team, the technology, and the traction, meaning you need some good people to help you, people who investors might believe in, for example, who cover multiple disciplines. The technology is your good idea and your ability to build it and then defend it against attack or competition. And then the traction is some proof that there's a market, some proof that there are customers who are going to pick up on this product and run with it. And it may be the case that you have to help an entrepreneur who has an idea develop those other pieces. Much of the time we do meet people with good ideas. And in my small collection of contacts, I know some people who are good at stuff, but I don't consider that I'm there to help grow the team. I'm there to help them refine their idea and figure out if there's a business associated with it. And there are many sessions in which we sit around and talk about, okay, you've got an idea. How do you describe that idea? And you find that even the members of the team don't have the same description. So you try to hone it and say, what is your business? How does it contrast with somebody else's business? And the thing that's missing from all of the inventors is, how are you going to make money? The famous phrase is, what's your business model? When you say that to an entrepreneur, he doesn't even know what you're talking about. I mean, to a technical person, he wouldn't know, well, what do you mean business model? No, how are you going to make money? Who's going to pay you? On what basis will you achieve a business success? How long will it be? Now, there's another element to the question and another element to my answer that I want to dwell on just for a sec. There are people who are top-down and there are people who are bottom-up. Top-down people might provide money to try and grow a capability, grow a business capability. And venture capitalists are often thought of as that. They know how to build a big company. They know how to deploy a whole bunch of resources. And then the bottom-up guys are the ones who can take their idea and kind of hack it together and demonstrate something and then build a little bit more and then attract some interest from some other friends. And then pretty soon they've got a business going. In my particular companies, the first one was kind of a top-down company. I mean, we had a good idea, and we were building the company, but we took venture capital money, we grew a big company, took it public, and it was, quote, successful in that realm. The second one was all bootstrapped. All my friends and I trying to figure out how can we make some money on the basis of things we know and things that we could build to try and get the nucleus of a business. And then many times during the life of that business, because we didn't have a big flywheel of money and people and helpers and employees, we came up against difficulties. And in the second business in particular, Microsoft was one of the difficulties. And they would step on companies sometimes by accident. And you have to overcome that. And it's a really a difficult and, difficult is enough of a word, but a labor-filled process.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.